Hello, everybody.
Beautiful, beautiful new day. Another new episode of the Awakening Room.
Yes.
I believe this is episode 7. Episode 7. All right. And we have another guest.
Woo.
Right? You didn't give it
I know.
it.
I'm sorry. I'm excited.
We got another new guest. Today's guest is Boujee, the Oracle Goddess.
Yes.
We all know her. Love her, of course. We've all worked with her. Right?
Yes.
She had a lot of energy.
Yeah,
and
a lot of information from this beautiful powerhouse of a past life regressionist, intuitive reader with Oracle or Tarot, and don't even need the cards either.
Yeah.
Don't even need them. Don't even need them. A medium, a channeler, does guided meditations,
yes,
and so many other things. Just a beautiful soul to know and love. And we welcome you and thank you, Boujee, for joining us here on the podcast.
Yes.
Now can I clap?
Yeah, now you can clap.
Thank you for the invitation. I'm excited to be here. Y'all know how I feel about y'all. It's all love. And I'm so excited for your podcast. It's just amazing. I mean, I've been looking forward to the next one each and every time. There's always something to get information from, knowledge, and also just new areas that I get to learn about you guys. So, yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
You know, and for me, this is something they want me to do, like just open up more. So it's helping me a bit. So I don't know.
Yeah. I say it's helping you a lot. Okay.
It is. But
so,
we can.
Yeah, we can start off with Boujee, tell everybody anything else you want them to know about you. And then we can jump into today's topic, which will be focused around readings, the symbolism of cards and other symbols and how they reflect us, and the energetic mechanics behind doing the readings with Oracle cards and Tarot cards. So, yeah, go ahead, take over.
Absolutely. So, I guess I could start with basically talking about how I just had an awakening. Different people have different awakenings. In the, I guess you call the process of me having an awakening, I started to watch a YouTube video, and this young lady, she was doing cards. Well, I've had a reading before, like years before that awakening happened. But I never thought anything about it. You know, I was like, oh, well, if they get it good, if they get it right, they get it right. If they don't, they don't. No big deal, right? No, didn't know anything about it, the mechanics, you know, how the ethereal process of connection worked, none of that. So I had the reading, and after I had my awakening, it was many years after I had the reading. When I had the awakening, there was something, I didn't know why it was happening, and I didn't know what it meant, but I knew something was happening to me in my life. And it happened in my mom's house. My mother had passed, and I always knew my mother to be, you know, she went to church, she was a Christian, but there was something that I always knew that was a little different from her. She knew things, right? And so I feel like she had a gift that she just never even talked about, or she didn't know what it was, right? So when I had the awakening in her home, I was in her home, I was asleep, and I woke up to this music playing in the background, and lo and behold, it was Oprah Winfrey, and I think it was Clark's graduation, but that really wasn't what was more of a phenomenal space. It was the music that was playing in the background. This music was a subtle, gentle music, but it was almost like, you know how the Pied Piper would play his horn or whatever, flute, and then little mice would come. It reminded me of that. And I know that's a weird connotation, but what I meant by that is that I felt like that was like my guides waking me up, say, hey, something amazing is about to happen. Something that you're not used to is about to happen. And the music was merely the gate of the portal of my awakening, is what I have come to understand, understand, and overstand.
Okay.
You know, and if I don't know, because music can do different things, because being a frequency channeler, I get things sometimes when music is playing. And when you're listening to a frequency of music, it can put you in a different state than before you was listening to. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Makes sense, of course.
So that's what I mean by the Pied Piper thing. It was something that made me say, pay attention. And I just began to really listen to the music. And I played it over and over and over again. Even though she was speaking, I could hear the music louder than her voice, which is crazy, right? So I knew it was something. The music was the same level. Actually, the music was subtle, but the way it was playing, and it's kind of like when I do a hypnosis session, when I tell the person, you know, if other things are happening in the background, you would give them the cue that my voice will become louder. It was the same exact thing, if that makes sense, right? Because it was intentional that was supposed to happen. Me to pay attention to the music because it was a frequency.
Okay.
It was a frequency. So anyway, I went and bought some cards after watching this young lady do some readings, and she would do like the pick of cards. And so I would like start picking the cards. I said, I bet you it's gonna be wrong. Each time it was right. I probably did about 50 of those. Like, I gotta take it. So I said, let me go and get me some cards. I'm gonna go and get me some cards. And from there, it just, you know, I never needed the manuals that came with them. The first day I did, because of course I didn't know what I was doing. And first of all, we're energy. The cards are energy. They come from tree. The person who created the decks, they are energy. And they're also alchemists, right? Most people do not know that. Now, it doesn't matter to the degree of them being an alchemist. They are. So when people speak of being afraid of tarot, all you are doing is looking at work from energy of a person who is connected to source and other energetic beings, angelic beings, ancestors, etc., who have given them an assignment or they agreed to it when they think about it, and then all of a sudden they're creating. And to them, if they're unbeknownst to that, it just feels like they're creating this amazing deck.
Yeah.
But they're totally different. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right. So anyway, I do the readings and everything goes well from there. I elevate from that to where I kind of start this interest in the Akasha. I ran into this young lady who was reading Akasha records, and I was fascinated by it. And I kind of wanted to get one, but I didn't. The difference was when she read the Akasha, she actually spoke in the light language, right? The information is given to her, and she would basically do what we call interpretation of the light language, which is always amazing. And then from there, like one day I was watching a video, hair video. I don't even know why the video came on YouTube. And it was a young lady. I guess I won't speak her name because I don't know, but most of us know this person because most of us came through her this way. Well, a lot of us did. And she was talking about this gentleman who was doing past life regressions. And I was like, wonder what that is, you know? But she started talking about it. So because I remembered his name, I went to go and look him up. When I looked him up, I was like, golly, that is amazing, right? Yeah. So imagine somebody putting you under hypnosis and finding out information that you have a past life, multiple past lives, been different things. You've been a man, you've been a woman, you've been you have mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers have exchanged places. You've been Asian, you've been the Hispanic, you've been, you name it, you've been white. So some of y'all, let's just, you probably was white in another past lifetime and don't even know it. And how you get that information is actually through the past life regression. So we went from that to, that's how I met you guys, through following Astro, and he's an amazing soul at what he does, or what he did, what he did. I got to give him credit. I tell you, he is the peak of what I said. Damn, I wish I could be like that. I would love to do that. Now, at the time, I was just saying that, right? I was like, damn, I look like it's cool to do. But because I was a reader, still didn't think anything about it. So the more I watched his videos, I just felt this calling, right? And so I was like, But you know, everything is timing. Everything is timing. And then I'm always in connection with my spirit guides, you know. And of course, you, Angela, you're amazing ass. Okay, if you have to bleep that, you go ahead and do that. But you know, you can understand how sometimes the information just come to you and you don't even know why. You ain't even ready for it sometimes. So that was another space that I was in. And then I realized that when I did readings, that a lot of times I have the cards in my hand, I'm reading them, but technically the information that was coming through was not on the card. And one of my friends, her name is Tanya, we call her Teach Balance. She always called those the blank cards, right? So basically just a prop in my hand. I am looking at the picture. I do see it, but there is nothing in the picture or the verbiage on the card that is related to the person who is getting the reading. Is the info? Go ahead.
I don't want to butt in, but being that you brought that up, and you just finagled your way right into it. It's really on point with the topic that I mentioned, like the energetic mechanics behind doing the readings with the oracle and tarot cards. Like, are you able to describe how it kind of feels or anything for people who are unaware, people who aren't readers, or people who may be interested? Like you said, you have the card and you're reading it, but you're not reading the card specifically. The information you get isn't necessarily well, it is, but it isn't. Like, you pulled the card and it's like, okay, I want you to look at this image, but here's the message. So how does that work?
All right. So that's a very good question to ask. And in the very beginning, I didn't quite understand it, but I just went with it. So what happens is that when I pull the card and I'm looking at the picture, the information just automatically comes. It's as if you at a movie theater and there's a screen that comes down and then boom, the information is there. Or it could be the opposite way. There is a movie you're looking at, the screen goes up and boom, then information just flows through. It actually comes through my mind's eye. And I know this because it is facts and information that I'm unaware of. So it is as if, I'm going to call it like a ripple. When you take a pebble and you throw it out into the water and the ripples all the way out, literally feel like that. It feels like somebody's getting your attention. It's like, hold on, pause. But it happens so quickly. There's a pause, and then it's as if there is a vibrational frequency that I receive. It is not audible to me. It is a knowing that that information that comes through, I'm to stop. Forget what's on the card. I'm holding it, and I just listen to the information come in, and then I just repeat it to the person. That's what it feels like.
Is there a difference from when the readings were being done for you opposed to you giving the readings to another?
Is there a difference?
Yeah, like, is there, I guess just like from, I guess both sides, you know, like, how do you view it? Like,
so yes, I've had readings before. I've had readings from trust. I've had readings from a couple of people. What I do want to say to anyone out there that is in a space of thinking about getting a reading, you want to be mindful of the energy that you connect to, because all energy and all readers are not the same. Before you have a reader, I would always suggest that you connect with your spirit guides, ancestors, source, God, whoever you want to say that is of a higher space than you, and ask, is this person the person I should get a reading from? Now, getting back to what you were asking me, Mike, it's different when I receive a reading than when I give one, and here's why. I'm a vessel that receives the information from numerous of sources. It could be from somebody's parents who have passed away, a baby who isn't yet to come, an angelic being that has a message. It could be from a being that is not of earth bound, but is of light and love, that has a message for this person, because they cannot hear, they cannot receive the messages coming from anyone else. So all of a sudden they're being guided to have a reading. They think, oh, I'm just going to get a reading. No, that's not how that happens. They're being guided to come to get a reading because there's information you need to receive that is important, that can even assist you with things you're trying to do, habits you have, things you need to step away, things you need to consider, etc. It could be a number of things, but you're never led to someone to get a reading that you feel a good vibration from as a coincidence or on your own. It doesn't happen like that. So when that happens to other people, I'm reading for them. So I know what's coming. I know even before they have the reading, some of the things that's coming up, because I've already prepared myself. I say, okay, y'all, I go and take a look at my cards and get my table set up. X, Y, and Z is coming. What we doing? What are we doing? What cards are we using, etc. Oh, you want them to say that? I've even had grandmothers, uncles, whoever, you just name it, come to me before the reading to give them information, so I know to open up that space for them when they come through to receive that as a channeled message. For myself, when I get a reading, it's different, because I'm either using, and first of all, let me just say this, healers need healers. I want to be clear about that.
Yes.
Absolutely. A lot of people don't realize that, though.
Yes, we do.
So if you're not in a space where you feel like you see a person who is going through some things because you see them on social media, and you might be thinking, oh, well, how they going to give somebody a reading and they're going through X, Y, and Z? So see, that's the key. You're going to be in a constant state of learning if you're a healer. You're going to be in a constant state of sometimes needing to have your energy cleared, because we tap into a lot of people. It's important to know that it's not a weakness. It is a necessity.
Yes.
You need to have on your team that can clear your energy and they can give you what you need, because you cannot do it all by yourself. It's just, you just can't do it. And when you get on that thought process of thinking that it can just be you, what happens is that you can begin to fail people. You fall off, and the messages that you give can be false, because now you're tapping into, or there could be a lower vibration that is you're entertaining.
Yep.
No. So now going back to what you said, Mike, or the question, when I get a reading, I'm coming because there are things that I need answers to that either I can't get them myself because I'm a reader and I'm too close to me, or I'm coming to someone else that I trust with my energy. I want to repeat that I trust with my energy, right? To be able to give me the messages and I know what they're saying is true. So for me, what it feels like when I'm getting one, I feel I'm totally 100% the student. And what happens is that I'm the listener also. I'm not the vessel. I'm the listener. So I'm paying attention when I get my readings, which only have been like 3 people in its entirety. No, it's 4. But when I get my readings, I'm paying attention to the person's voice. I'm paying attention to their body language, and I'm paying attention to my auric field around me. See, you get tingles, you get different things. You're supposed to pay attention to that. A lot of times, that is your guide saying, I know you second guessing this, but this is where you need to hone in and pay attention. And if you know this, it's because you're grounded. If you don't know it, it's because you're not. So for me, it feels different. I become the student. I have 1,000 questions because I need to get them in, because I don't let everybody tap my energy. That makes sense.
Perfect sense.
I will say from my side too, when I get readings from others, like you said, I'm like listening, and it's interesting too, because it's like, I wonder what they're gonna say. I wonder what's gonna be said. And I 100% agree with you on the being a reader myself. You can be too close to whatever it is you're going through to have a clean, objective reading. And we don't want to muddy the waters when it comes to ourselves or anyone else. So like you said, if we're feeling a type of way,
you have to
shut it down. It's like, I will not do a reading for somebody else if I'm in a space energetically, emotionally, whatever, where it's like, I feel like it can interfere. It's like, sorry, we need to reschedule because I can't do it today. And for myself, if somebody else is doing it for me, I would hope they would have the same type of integrity and not do my reading if they in a space of whatever. I don't bring that over here.
That's right. That's right. 100%. What you think, Mike?
Huh? No, I said integrity is a big thing.
It is integrity. And that's one thing.
Integrity is a big thing.
I actually can pat myself on the back for that, because there have been people I'm like, oh, hell no. I ain't giving them no reading. I ain't even fooling with them. Their energy's off, and I don't want to be dealing with that. But then I have these spirit guides that be like, oh, wait a minute. They coming to you for a reason. So it's like spirit guide to spirit guide. My spirit guide, they spirit guide. They spirit guide, send them here. Mine said, you gonna get this done. Facts. So you don't have to have a personal relationship with a person. You don't have to have a liking for the person. My job as the vessel is to deliver the message. Now, there have been times where people have paid me and their energy is so off. I already know my energy is to deliver the message. I'm walking around the house and I know, I'm gonna do it. You know, like I'm talking to my team, right? I got this. But what I may do, there have been times where I have refunded a person because that was not an energetic match, period. Right? So I could have accepted it, transmuted, but why? Just give it to them, because what I do is energetic exchange, and it's energy, and I don't. It doesn't cost me anything other than the energy that I use to give the reading, to connect with their guides or whoever's coming through to give them the information. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting, that you said that. Before I do a reading, I always clear my space. If I feel like there's some funk, because we are human beings, we have shit going on in our life. Excuse me, we have things going on in our life. And so we must clear our energy before we do something. Does that mean we might have to reschedule? Yes. And I've had people to kind of feel a type of way, but I'd rather them feel a type of way than my energy be off, because I need to be clear and sound as a vessel to receive the information and to relay the information. If I'm doing a reading and I feel like they cannot receive it, I have to make sure that they do. So I have to do a workaround, right? That can be challenging for a person. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know this person. I ain't seen them. Only for them later, a couple of weeks later, months later, come back, you know what, Boujee? I know exactly what you're talking about. I know who that is. I've had people in a reading to get a reading, and the information comes to me, but also there's the stop sign. We will give that to them off camera. That person tell me, the information you told me that you couldn't give to me, I received it in the shower. Because if they tell you they don't want to do it on camera, they know people are going to see this video. And for whatever reason, it doesn't even have to be the individual that is looking at it. It could be an energy attached to the person. So we have to be mindful when they say no, don't give that information, we'll give it to them. They're giving it to them in a more safer space. Yes. Even though we cleared the energy, we've done all we need to do for that. We put a bubble. We did everything we're supposed to do. There are still sometimes, based on their end, that we need to wait. So, yeah.
There can be so many things involved in a reading. And I guess it's like, unless you are a practitioner yourself, you really don't know what it's like. Or all the things, like people may just, people scroll and they'll see, oh, these people doing readings, and they want to jump in and ask a question, or they want to wait there.
It is odd, because what I've learned is that, especially on social media, it's almost like it's a trend, and truthfully it is, but it's like, it's just this thing where people just want to jump in and just say anything and not realize what's actually happened energetically. Because like you said, with integrity, a reader can say anything, especially if they're not in a good space. They can say anything and you can take it and run with it, especially if it's somebody who's really in need of this information. You can actually mess up a good section of their decisions, which is going to affect their life, right? So it's like, integrity is very big. It is very big. And I just think people should take it more serious. I see a lot of people, it's like, oh, is so-and-so going to get, it's like, it's so much you can do with it. You can get a lot of information, a lot of help that's needed.
You can.
If you use it correctly. But again, the reader has to be in that space to help, because again, like you said, everybody's helping each other. Everybody is helping each other.
That's right.
Yeah, and I wanted to share too, for me, like you were saying, how certain signals you get when you're doing readings that let you know, use this card, use that card. So when I first started, I used to be so upset because, I see y'all professionals and the way y'all shuffle and the cards fly out. And I'm like, that's what I want. I want the card to fly out. So in the beginning, I used to be mad because it was, I'm like, wait, so how do I know when I'm supposed to stop shuffling if it's not jumping out my hand? What you call the jumpers. That doesn't always happen. So I had to learn, like the first time I did it, I think I spread the deck out and was yes, I spread the deck out, and I'm like, okay, which of these cards is get feeling around for the energetic feel. I'm like, okay, it's over this side. But you have to be able to trust yourself and your guides and source that you're gonna pick what you're being guided to, because it ain't all gonna be a jumper. And sometimes for me as well, the mechanic is I'll be shuffling and I literally feel like as if, if you're walking and then you bump into an invisible wall. That's the best way I can describe it. So if I'm shuffling, it's like, whoa, stop. This is the card.
100%. And then,
so it's pretty cool the different ways that you get the signal on how to know this is the card to present.
Yes.
A lot of people. Go ahead.
What'd you say?
Go ahead. You could go.
So the funny thing about that trust, I want to say this. On social media, you see people doing different tricks and stuff like that. That's just a bonus. The meat of it is the message. Mm-hmm. And so when you are getting things like the jumpers, I want to explain that what Trust was talking about to see when we have the cards jumping out. You can have more than one card jump out. Say you have 3. The key is to check in with your team. Is this person supposed to get all 3 cards? They'll let you know yes or no, because part of it could be that it was just stuck to a card and then it flew out. And also, when you see people doing different things or how they spread the decks or how they choose the card, most people who are ethically sound in doing readings will know when to stop. You will feel that. Mm-hmm. For example, my team knows that I pull from the back, right? Or if I'm not pulling from the front of the card, which is where the pictures are, unless I flip the deck. They know I pull from the back. So it doesn't matter if it's to the left or to the right, how I turn the deck, right? And they know sometimes I only shuffle one. Boom, there it is. Stop right there. Whatever card that you get on the back side, that is it. Not if you in mid-air and it's this card, it's always the one from the back. See, that is how they've trained me. They will give you a stop. They will give you a signal, right? So when you're getting readings from people, you just have to be mindful. Integrity is everything. They could say anything. I'm one of those readers that, for example, if I give you a reading, I will not give you another reading until 30 days. Because if there was messages that came through, my integrity is telling me that you either have something to work on or you're waiting to receive something or they're bringing something to your, for you to acknowledge. And so a lot of people, they are addicted to wanting readings. What they need is self-control and knowing, one, if they had a deck, they could do their own readings. Mm-hmm. However, they will read what's on the card in the guide. Nothing wrong with that. But you miss the intuitive message that comes when it comes from a reader. And you know what that is when they start to give you information and you know you don't know this reader. I don't know Boujee Oracle Goddess, but she said this, and that. Like, how even she know this? She even called their name. So it's important to make sure that when you're getting a reading that you know that person's sound ethic. I'm not talking about they have 200,000 followers. That means nothing. Because you can get the big head and then all your integrity and ethics go out the window.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that it happens that way. And like you said, like some people do get addicted to readings. It's like, but how many readings do you want to try?
But like Boujee said, though, it's like you have to sit with it. You can't just get a message after a message. Like you have to adjust it. You have to absorb it. Mm-hmm. Make the adjustments to go of what's the next steps. Yeah. It's not like I was saying before, like people just jump on it, be like, oh, asking questions. Like you have to, when you get an answer, you have to sit with it. Yes. You have to truly sit with it and then
do
take
what
the
you
proper
have to
steps.
Do. Exactly. Because otherwise you're just going to keep getting the same message over and over again. And then you might start to think, well, this reader don't know what they're doing. They keep telling me the same thing.
The same card.
No, it's you.
You have to. It's the truth.
You mentioned names. Like when you're doing a reading and you're giving somebody information you don't know, like names for people. And I think a lot of people who are new to stuff like this or unaware, they may think it's like kind of fake or kind of scripted or something like that. But one thing that I can say, when you're trying to deliver a name to someone, sometimes you may not be 100% on the mark because you're trying to get the frequency. You might get the first letter right, the first 2 letters right. For example, I was doing a reading for my sister, and she had some people on the Zoom just watching it. And then it was like, all right, I was told to stop with her. Like, okay, somebody on this call, this message is coming in for you. Like somebody who's watching in the background, this is for you. And I actually gave this person 2 beginning sounds of names. I have
Mm-hmm.
never met this person a day in my life. First time I ever, and I didn't even really see them. They didn't have their camera on. So I didn't see them, but they were there. So
Mm-hmm.
I gave them two sounds. I said somebody name start with a T and somebody else's name start with a sh sound. She was like, "That's my sister and my mother." Right
Mm-hmm.
on the money. Like that's specific enough to where you can know. It's like, okay, they got to be getting. Like, how they know this?
You had a doubt before. We're gonna throw that doubt out the window.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to piggyback off of that. That is really important that you mentioned the names, the places, etc. And what, as a human, anyone that comes to have a reading, what you got to remember is, and this used to happen to me in the beginning, no longer happens anymore because I trust my instinct, I trust my intuition, I trust what I am hearing. But in the beginning, I used to stutter sometimes when I read, and it was it's it would be like that, and I'm like, what the hell is going on with me? And what was happening is because I am a frequency channeler. The information comes to me through frequency. So if you think about it, somebody out there, the man on the moon. You think about the man on the moon standing with a megaphone, and he is giving me a message, and he's talking through the megaphone. That message has got to come all the way from the moon,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to come through a sound wave. It is the same exact thing. It's a frequency. So when a person is giving you messages, they're getting the name. If you hear, if there's any stutter, or if there's it sounds like Brian. Okay, so it takes a minute sometimes to get the message, and that's the reason why that happens, because the message is traveling from guides who are ethereal. They're not even here, who assist us with these readings. It is like we just don't pull it out of nowhere. We're being assisted either by their guides or our own, and the frequency is important. That's why sometimes when I stop YouTube, we're listening, not audibly, vibrationally. And that's really hard to explain to people how we get that information.
It is hard to explain because, to keep it simple, we will say stuff like, "I heard this," but we don't mean we literally heard as like we hear each other right now speaking. It's not that I just heard that, but I received this. But for simplicity, we do typically say, "This is I heard this." I've had um sessions where I will tell the person, "I hear this word," and I'll give them the word. And like you said, in the beginning, you kind of stumbling and stuttering because you're like, "What is this?" I have had so many moments where I'm receiving a word or something. I'm like, "This don't even make sense. Why would I say this right now?" To me, it don't make sense. But we have to trust that we're being given the information that's going to connect with that person. And it could be the most random word. And you're just like, "We weren't even talking about this, but okay." And you say the word and they're like, "Oh," it connects to something for them. And it's a cool experience. And I know you feel like it's cool too because you see their reaction and response and you be like, "Yeah, I got that. I know what I'm doing."
Yeah, that is, it's just phenomenal how that happens. And a lot of times what we have to remember is that that information is being given to us. We're the vessel. And if the person understands that, then they know that. The stuttering is just a part of the acclamation. I remember doing a reading in the beginning, and I was shuffling the cards. The card came out. I was like, "Oh, no, that can't be right." Shuffle it again. Boom. Same card came out. I was like, "Oh, my God." Okay, shuffle it the third time. It was like, "Listen, if you don't give them this message, like really, really Boujee, like for real." And so I went ahead and gave it to them. It wasn't really bad news. It wasn't good news, but it's what they needed to receive, because I knew the person and maybe knew some things about them. But you don't know everything about these people. Right. So you got to give the message. Like, "Oh, what you doing? Girl, what is you doing over there?" Like, Boujee, give them the card with the crap. No, it's not changed. We're giving it to you again. And that's what happens.
Yeah.
From then, and once I gave them the information, it connected to them instantly. What that taught me, it was a lesson in itself. If they give me a card, give them the message. Now, the message is not always going to be friendly. And there have been times when they give me a message and it's got some colorful words. What you got to remember is your guides will meet you where you are. Do they use those? They don't care about ish, ash, and They don't care about those words, right? Because they meet us where we are. We made those words sound like, "Oh, that's a bad word." They're just meeting us where we are. They understand if I say this, they serious, right? If I say, well, you need to change the things that you do, they might say something, listen, you fucking up, okay? And that's what they want me to deliver.
Exactly.
Right? I'm not, because they don't get that. You need to change this thing when especially when it's coming from ancestors. Oh, they will go ham. And they will know that was their nana or whoever they paw. So what I've learned is that the messages come in differently for different people, but I could have the same card drawn for 4 different people and it will have 4 different meanings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think this example that you just gave is a great way to segue into the second part. The readings, the cards, symbols, etc., being mirrors, consciousness mirrors to the client, the person who's getting the reading. Because like you said, the same card can have a different message for each person that's pulled for. You can literally pull one card in a room of 10 people and give 10 separate messages off that one card. Because I do believe, yes, the card is going to be a consciousness mirror to that individual.
I agree 100%. And that's a fact.
Yeah. Because go ahead.
If we think about it, we're connecting with Source, God, whoever, Buddha, whoever you want to, whoever. We're connecting with them because of who we are. We've been given specific gifts. This is not something I just picked up a book and learned how to do. I've done this in another lifetime. We know this. Most people, what you perfect and that you're really good at, you've done something of the sort in another lifetime. So with that being said, when I connect, we're connecting because the information that we're giving them from the card comes from someone other than us.
Exactly. And when it comes to, so I know we've been talking a lot about readings, so using cards and things, but when we work symbols in, like reading a symbol to somebody, have you ever done that?
So, yes. So you can have a card and it could have different symbols on it. Maybe we're going to use a shovel. It could be a diamond. It could be the infinity sign. It could be something. It could be a sigil. It could be any of those things. And those things have different meanings other than the standard human eye who decided a sigil like this is going to mean that. It may not mean that for that person. So the symbols mean something for them in their life where they are right now. And that comes through because that information has been trying to come through, and more than likely it's come up before, but the person could not receive it. So whether it's in words, they change it to symbols, or whether it's symbols and they change it to words. That includes hieroglyphs.
Mm-hmm. So, Mike, just bring you in the conversation. When you get readings or when you read collective readings, because that works too, we've both done collective readings, and do you feel like the cards or symbols, what have you, reflect you in something that you may be going through? Like, we're on the consciousness mirror aspect of it. Do you feel like that is something that you can associate with the readings?
Well, yeah, at times, especially like when there's collective readings and things like that, for me, it's always something that sticks out. Like you said, sometimes it's something that you're dealing with, or something that's there's certain symbols, let's put it, that's for you, and you just know what it is. You know the meanings, the backstory, so you pretty much know what it is and what to do. I mean, this is the way I view it. This is for
that's
me.
the conscious part, right?
Yes, this is what I'm saying for that. So sometimes it could be 4 cards that could come out, but this one part of a card, that's all I need. That's all I need. You know, so sometimes it could just be, for me, it could be something small that has the whole meaning of everything for me. If I'm answering the question correctly.
Yeah, you did good.
Yeah.
It is interesting because, the 3 of us are here chatting, and Boujee and I both being practitioners using cards and doing readings, and Mike being not a practitioner, but it's not to say that he's never held a deck before or pulled a card before.
So I actually was gonna speak on that too. Like no, but I don't speak a lot, but I do, as they like to say, play with the cards. That's what I say, so they laugh at me. But I do, and even to go back to that, it's times where shuffling. It's times where I would shuffle, and maybe a card at the bottom would slide down like towards my wrist, and even though I'm shuffling, I just stop and I know this is the card right here. Sometimes, excuse me, it's like you said, it's not all about the jumpers. Sometimes you can just feel like you know when to stop. There's been times where, like what you said, sometimes it could be 3 cards that jump out, but this one card over here is like I'm focused on that. I'm focused on that one card. Sometimes you do just know what the right card is. I only do it for myself. I don't really do it for others. Not often I have, but not so much. But I do. I get everything that's being said. I know it all. So I just don't speak on it. But when the messages do happen, and there's even the times, Boujee, where I would pull a card or whatever, and there's something that's not even read on the card itself. It could be something in the background that I'm focused on, and I'm just like, oh, there's something here in the clouds, and then they'll sit and I stare at it like, why is it there? Then all the other whatever else information will just start to come in.
Yes.
So again, and then again, I'm going back for everything else that I didn't speak on. Those are things you just have to be confident on. Just know that that's what it is. Just know that that's what it is. And to go back, like I said, it could be the thing in the sky. It could be, how some illustrations, like I said, it could be like a something in the sky, so it'd be a cloud. But the way it's drawn can look like a symbol. It can look like something else, and that would be, I say, oh, I got it. And because a lot of times I'm doing it for myself, so I'll get what's being said. So
yes.
But I do. Sometimes it's the smallest parts. The small parts of everything I can get.
Yes. And when you were talking about the card, when you're shuffling it slid down like to the wrist, you know the difference between this is a card or that's a missed shuffle. Let me shuffle some more, right? We can miss shuffle all the time or drop a card. Oh, that was my bad. And then the difference. Oh no, that was a straight jumper. Okay, that means more than anything, I don't care what you do with this deck, they need to know this right here. So it's funny that you mentioned that about it sliding down to your wrist, because they will point it out like, okay, listen, don't you overlook this right? This is the one.
Yeah, it happens.
I can't front. The other day I was doing a collective reading, and I was shuffling, and it kind of did like, and it flipped over a few cards. And I was like, I think that was my mistake, but I made sure to look at the card that turned over, because you never know. Like, maybe I was supposed to take that card. But I was like, no, I think that was my mistake. But I glanced down at the card, like flipped everything over, kept shuffling. Lo and behold, that card came right back out. They say, no, it was right. Like, this is the card. But I thought it was just because the way it sounded was weird, and it was a few cards. And I was like, no, but I looked at it. It's like, just in case, what's this card? Okay. And then I keep shuffling. It's like, boop. I'm like, yeah, there it is. It's the card.
And you go ahead, Mike.
No, I was just going to say that it's been times where, because I was doing it as a practice, like every day I would try to pull a couple. And there was a time where I felt like I was shuffling for like 3 minutes. I really did. And then it was just like, there's nothing for you. It's okay. Go about your business. And so sometimes for me, it's just like, if there's no message, there's no message. You don't need to force anything. You never force anything. So I was just going to
I did want to say, excuse me, speaking of consciousness, when you're working with the cards, and because we're on this element of the discussion, once you pull a card, the guides, the collective teams have your attention. So whatever, if you was thinking some other things or the next thing that's about to come, they're watching you when I say, okay, would you like to have it where you can see the cards like this, or you want to be face down? You want to see my face as I read, or do you want to look down at the deck? How do you want it? I give a choice. When you are doing that, the collective is preparing you for what's about to come, the message. So what happens is that as soon as you pull that card, boom, as you're looking at that card without giving it a lot of thought, the messages start to come through, because now there's that blank space. They have your attention. Boom, listen to us. This is not about that card, right? That happens all the time. Also, for the person who is getting the reading, it will come to them. We have their attention. This is what we want you to give to them. They see the card. You told them what it was. Boom, let's go. So they're preparing the reader and the receiver, the client, for both pieces. And that's consciousness. The only way to be there is to have that space where there's no thoughts, and boom, they just come right in, and you think it's you. It is not you. It is the vessel giving the information, period. It doesn't even matter how it comes across. It's going to be your voice. It's not a channel. Not you channeling. Although now when you channel, that's different too. Now that's another whole thing right there, right? But the point is the consciousness of both parties. The receiver who was told to have the reading, now we have them here, Boujee. This is what we need them to know. In order for them to know that, they have to come to the session, get the information. In order for you to give them what we need to give them, we need you to be clear at thought, ethic sound, and pure at heart, period. You can't do it any other way.
Nope.
And be on point.
Yeah, that 100% agreed. It's just one of those things. It's kind of, I'm not going to say it's weird, but I seem to have this thing where I'm not going to say I don't like to do readings for myself, but I will, and I pull the cards, and it's like I'll read it, and I usually read it one time and don't like come back to it. It's like, okay, I read it, I know what this is, and don't come back to it. But I do kind of prefer to get like any messages as far as when it comes to cards from a different practitioner than myself, because like I don't want that interference. I want to be clear, and if I feel like I'm not 100% clear, then it's like, well, I don't want to pull the card and be second guessing it for myself and be like, okay, I don't know if this was influenced by the way I feel. Like if I see the card that fell out and be like, no, that was me because I didn't like the card, put it back. Oh no, I don't like this card, put it back.
That is a thing. That is a real thing. But when the more we evolve and the more that we mature in our practice, we know what it is.
Yep.
Want it to be. We know what it is. And sometimes, you have, it's like, now I'm going to say sound, it's a frequency, it's a feeling. It's like your guys like, now we was going to get at you. You know it was coming, like you tried it.
Right, especially when you feel like it's coming already. It's like you shoving like, man, watch this card be some BS. And be like, man, I don't know. And then boop, like I knew it.
That's right. And so giving for ourselves is just trusting our intuition and trusting our guides. And our guides are never, first of all, I want to say this. If you're going to get a reading and most of the reading is negative, that's probably not the best practitioner to get a reading from. Because one, they're going to set you up to give you what you're supposed to have. Now, if you're just off the chain with what you're doing in your life, yeah, it's going to come across that. But the way they spank that ass, it's going to be a little different from the way the murkiness can come across, gloom and doom. It's not going to be that.
Yeah.
So if it's across like that, you might want to rethink the practitioner that you're visiting. What you think, Trust?
I would agree, because I don't think out of all of the readings and sessions I've done, it's never been like 100% negative. Like no matter what they were going through, there's always some sprinkles of rainbows in there.
It's always something like that. Yeah.
It's always something like that. It's not always just tragedy and you just going in on them. No. So I agree with you, because there can be a lot of projection from the reader who is doing the reading.
I have seen that, yes.
And that's horrible. And
the reader, if you are sound ethically, you know that. She's like, oh, hell no, that's bullshit right there. Why do you keep going with the reading? Now, I'm just saying.
Listen.
If you sound ethically sound, you know when it's about to go to the left. You know it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's You gotta be careful out here in these spiritual streets.
No, I've I don't really. I ain't saying not anybody's name because I don't know them anyway. But there's been times I wanted to go on social media just to see what other readers are doing. Like I really did. I'm interested. Like what is everybody else's process like? How do they go about it? And that is one thing I've seen. It's like a lot of things are, like you said, is projection. A lot of people go about it interestingly. I just leave it there. It's interesting.
It is interesting. And like you said, if you are able to use your discernment, you can kind of pick up on, oh nah, this is some skip, next, swipe, slide, whatever. Just keep it moving, keep it pushing.
And that's why I say, integrity is a thing.
Yeah.
Integrity is a thing.
I think I'm gonna title this episode "Integrity is a Thing."
Integrity is a thing.
Integrity, yeah.
Oh man.
So, Boujee, you also do not just readings, but you do regressions.
I do past life regressions, and my readings in the past life regressions, we struggle with what is the favorite. I think it's the favorite with whatever I'm doing right now, right? So, I did, as I was given permission from my guides to, yes, you can do this now. It just came natural to me. I know that I've done something similar to this in my lifetimes, and or I was just meant to do this. I enjoy it. It's the way that I deliver the message. It's the way that I answer the questions. It is the way that I guide them. It is the places that they are going to find out things about their past life and how it can heal them in this lifetime. I've even had one to go to a future life. Mm-hmm. That is coming. Okay, I've already made the thumbnail for it, but in case people don't understand what a past life regression is, it is where you are under hypnosis. You are consciously aware of everything that is going on around you. You have your feelings. It's as if somebody was to tap you on your shoulder, you'd feel it. You do not lose anything as far as your connectedness to anything, or somebody's going to be going in my head and it's not. Sorry. Yeah, I know that was weird, y'all. My bad. But that's, people watch too much TV. Hypnosis is it's kind of a state of semi-sleep. You are fully aware. If someone was to knock on your door while you're under hypnosis, you would be able to say, Boujee, can you get that for me? While you're still there, but you're in a deep kind of a sleep. And the consciousness is where you're tapping into. That is the seat of the soul that knows all. Your consciousness know if somebody is about to start meddling, whatever question a hypnosis practitioner may try to give, you're not going to budge. You won't move. The information will be, you're going to run into a brick wall. It's not going to happen. And I've seen where people have tried to ask questions, and I'm not saying that they were trying to be nosy. It was just a question. The higher self, the consciousness will say, we're not speaking on that. Mm-hmm. And the reason that the consciousness does that is because the person, the individual, the human, in their normal conscious state could not handle the information being given. And the practitioner should not move forward. You should just say, okay, and move forward. Right. So yeah, I do love that. It's a way to heal. It's a way to find out who you were in another lifetime. It's the way to find out the people that you're connected to, if you were connected to them in another lifetime. It's the way to connect with your gifts. If you in another lifetime had a gift, you can literally tap into that same gift this lifetime by knowing. Mm-hmm. But you have to do some work. Yes. If there's things going on with you, the body, there's things that I do while I have them under hypnosis with their permission to see if they want me to walk into that space with them to see what's going on. Mm-hmm. If they need to know why they've been so negative, why are they acting like this? We can absolutely 100%. I can go in and tap in. I do things like speaking with chakras. Chakras can speak. Mm-hmm. Who knew? Who knew chakras could speak? That's crazy, right? Mm-hmm. But if you think about it, it's energy and we're energy. And the person who is there, who is ethically sound, if you are there for the right reason, when you take somebody in a past life regression and you begin to talk to the body, to the energy that's there, etc., if you are who you say you are, you will get the information. If you're a fraud, they're going to shut your shit all the way down and call you a lie, period.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, yes, Mike, I do past life regressions and I love what I do.
Yes. And we love them too. Can't wait to see the next one.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay, so I'll ask again the difference on being on both sides, because you've done one, you've experienced one, and as you experienced it, you're the practitioner. Both sides. The
Yes.
difference, because it's. I was asking Trust this earlier. It's like, being able to do one and then having one done. Like, I was asking her, what's the differences? Because a lot of times when people finish their regression, there's, of course, as people say, the gate is open for the energy to continue to flow. All these other information, experiences happen. What happens on the other side, like as you're given the information? I mean, as the practitioner, and you're helping the other person through.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about it? For me, I feel like I learn. Well, of course, from my perspective, but I feel like I'm learning just as much as the person that's under. So, for me, it's amazing. I feel like it expands my awareness.
Yes, 100%. The difference between having one done, because I had one done, it's out there, y'all. Boujee Oracle Goddess, search it up, okay? It's going to say healing. Go take a look. So the difference is, when you're having one done, it's almost, first of all, you got to feel comfortable with the person that's doing it. I will say that. And also, it depends on if you are control freak or if you question a lot of things. And I'm very analytical, right? So when I had mine, from the perspective of that versus facilitating one, I will say that because you're so open, it's almost like, when a person asks you a question, when I'm under hypnosis, when I was under hypnosis, I'm given a question. And as they give me the question, it's as if my consciousness is searching for, it looks like a ping pong, somebody back and forth. That's the only way I can explain it. It's like the ball is going back and forth, searching. Oh, boom, here it is, right? So when you're given the information, you are in such a trance that, one, I could hear the audible of hearing is so profound, right? It's unlike hearing when I am doing a session. So, for example, when I had mine done, even though the person who was facilitating my session was behind me, I could hear its surround sound. At times, I didn't know if the question was coming from here, even though the person was sitting back here. Mm-hmm. And that's because your senses are heightened. Everything is at rest outside of the consciousness coming forward. And because the consciousness comes forward, you're just waiting for the next. And it is waiting. It's waiting and watching your higher self. It's waiting and watching. It's guarding. Right? And while you, who is the person who is having it done, you're answering the questions the best that you can while having a picture in front of you. So you got this visual in front of you, and you're looking and you see it. And even though they ask you the question, you give them the information, it's like there's a pause. That picture stays there until the next question goes, and then there's like a slide. Then there's another picture, right? The difference between that and giving one, I'm waiting for the person who I'm facilitating to give me the information, because I have the next question of what they want answered. Or if their guides are stepping in and they're giving me the information, I need to write some things down because I don't want them to forget. I don't want to forget to give them that information. Mm-hmm. The difference is, a lot of times with the person who I am getting the information from, you can feel hesitancy with them seeing what they're seeing. And even if they don't see it, they feel it, they begin to question that. Where it's the person, if you've had one before, you know not to question, because I know what I saw. I know what they're seeing, and I know what they're seeing is true. Mm-hmm. And so the difference is that when you're having it done, your senses are so heightened, you really just kind of You're just like you're waiting on the next person, waiting on the every move, listening to the every word, so that you're trying to decide if there's more. When you're looking at the picture that you're looking at in your mind's eye while on the hypnosis, you're looking to see if there's anything else that I need to say. Because sometimes I've seen sessions where the person who is facilitating begins to go to the next question, and then the person's still speaking because they realize there's something else that needs to be said. Whereas you're the person who is facilitating, you're just waiting for them to stop so you can give them that information. And you're making, one thing you're doing is you're reading their body. You're reading their body language. You're watching the eyes flutter. You can see the eyes moving behind the eyelids back and forth. So you know they're searching and they're watching and they're looking. And it's always a practice of mine. Is there anything else, to say sometimes if I feel that it is? And that is not because of me. That's because I have a whole past life regression panel and they help me with the questions. And so I want to make sure that the person who is receiving it gets everything out. That's the difference between having one, waiting to give the information and initiating the information to me. But the feelers for the person who is receiving that, they're like wide open. So you're having to make sure that you watch them, paying attention to everything. You can tell when sometimes people will sweat. You can ask if you need a break. And so you're paying attention to everything. The difference is that you are 100% on go as far as watching and making sure they're good.
Okay. So as the information is, I guess, all the information is coming out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever experienced, I guess, putting the puzzles together, even for yourself? Because as a practitioner, someone's you're helping them out. But sometimes there's things that you want for yourself. There's things that you want to know of.
Mm-hmm.
And as the information is coming out, there's like little pieces that drop.
100%.
For you. How has that been for you?
Now I'm going to tell you that's crazy right there, okay? Because this past life regression is not your own. It's someone else's, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to talk about guides just a tiny bit real quick. So just because I have my spirit guides, ancestors, etc., angelic team, they have theirs, they're all connected. So mm-hmm. It doesn't matter who gives the information to who, to what guide, it's coming through, it's for you. So there are times when I've done past life regressions and the information is not for the person, it's for me. Mm-hmm. They're not even calling my name and saying, Boujee, this is for you. Now that does happen too. And also what happens is that I want to ask a question. Can you ask such and such? And the information is for me, right? Because I have gotten their permission. Number one, first, I want to ask a couple of questions for myself. Are you okay with that? When we get there, if they'll answer, they are always saying yes. So when that person is speaking, the person under the hypnosis, the vessel still, if information comes out and they're speaking, because of my intuition, I know that is not for them. That is for me because, one, it is something I would have had a question about earlier. Mm-hmm. And usually because I've got the vessel here, they know that. My team knows that. Mm-hmm. Their team knows that. Let's go ahead on and give that. They don't even have to say, Boujee, this is for you. They don't have to do that. And I'm going to tell you, when it first happened, the first time I was like, oh, wow, that was for me. But I try not to show these things because I'm on camera, because I do these virtually for the most part. And you don't want to, because you're going to give them the video afterwards. You don't want them to be like, what's she looking like that? Because that could come up. But most of the time it's because you being a person of ethics, and they know you have questions. So they allow you to have just a tiny bit of space in your client's space. And I'm so appreciative of that. So when it does come to me, I know that it's for me. And sometimes we'll talk about it, and I was like, when they were talking about X, Y, and Z, that was for me. Yeah. So it's always good to let them know that, because I don't want to have to do it right there in the session. We always usually do that afterwards when we're having the talk after we brought them back too. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, that does happen, and it felt odd at first, but now I'm used to it. It
just becomes the normal.
Yes, it's the norm.
So as far as, okay, you got certain things that was needed for you, or that you can piece together for yourself personally. What
Yes.
about everything consciously, overall? Have you ever had experiences for that, for the all? If you understand what I'm saying? How things work.
how things work.
how
Yes.
things truly work.
Yes. So it blows my mind once again when I get information that it's not really for me, but it's for the collective of the masses. Information comes through them for everyone who sees that video. Is that what you're meaning?
Well, yeah, but more of like what's a better way to put it? Like, okay, so for example, constellations, right?
Mm-hmm.
The true, the way to read the constellations, let's put it that way, the way to read the stars.
Mm-hmm.
One time I was doing a regression and certain information came out. It may sound odd for some people, but this is another part of why I view astrology a little different. Because there's astrology and then there's astronomy. All right. So the way from the information that I got is the way to read the stars is more of decisions. Like sometimes it can be decisions. You know, like back in the day they would I'm losing my words. God damn.
What are you trying to say?
So the way they God, why am I losing my words?
Are you trying to go back like what ancient civilizations
Yes.
would do?
Why can't I think right now? Everything just went blank.
They would. I don't know if this is what you're trying to say, but like they would use the locations of
There's locations or times you should grow certain. It's
yes.
It's a lot of
agriculture.
agriculture. I couldn't, for whatever reason, I could not think of the word. The agriculture, certain times that you should, you know,
Like the almanac, that type of thing.
yeah, it's like you make certain decisions, certain moves at a certain time based off of where the stars are. You know,
Yes.
for example, what was it? Was it the Big Dipper or the Little Dipper? When you look up at the sky, the information. So when you look up at the sky, I believe it was the Big Dipper. The Big Dipper is a meeting point.
Okay.
The Big Dipper is a meeting point for collective energies to meet and to discuss whatever's needed, right? So I've learned that through the regressions and things of that
I
nature.
see.
How the
Yes.
energy grid works. How do you fuel the energy
Yes.
grid? Like certain things.
So stuff like that.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. I have had things come through like that, and so you try to decide, like when you're editing the video, you try to decide, do you want this in here? Will this be received? Or should I just leave this here when I give each one of my clients, whenever I do my sessions, they get their own Zoom video. If it's included in one of the packages, it's included, and when it's not. Because that information could be so sensitive and mind-blowing to some people, I try to make a decision on whether to include that or not, and I would feel that, I would know that it would come from my guys, like, oh, that was just FYI for you and for them, or yeah, we want you to post it for everybody to see. So yes, I do get information that is first of all my sessions are always mind-blowing because I learned different things, but those things outside of just the norm of information for that person that would be awesome for the masses to know, that's probably happened maybe 2 or 3 times. It's not the norm, but I feel like it comes through timely when it's supposed to happen, and usually what it's based on what is going on in the world right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the most part. I'm pretty sure some people probably give out ancient information that, that we can know, may not know, things that a man has told us versus we find out, oh, so that's not true. Oh, there's more to that. Oh, it's more planets. Why they just talk of, that kind of. So a lot of people, they only want to believe what they can see. They don't want to believe what is, and that they don't have any consciousness knowing of outside of what man has told them. So if they're, unless they're in tune with us and connected, like we are connected, and we connect, and information is given to you and you give it to us, and unless it's that, it's kind of like, this is for you, this is a FYI, you don't have to post this. I get that. And I do ask, do you want me to post this? And no, it's not necessary, it's just for you, or you could share it with your close circle, that type of thing. Yes, it's happened maybe 2 or 3 times, but I feel like now that you've asked that question, I feel like some of those things start to come up, and you know how that goes. There's a question, but for a reason, but like there's a real reason why this question is coming up. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Okay. And it's kind of like, we warned you already. Be ready. So.
Yeah.
It's the world of consciousness is so expansive. You can't box it into anything. And I think, like you said, like, are the masses ready to know some of this stuff? Like, some of this stuff is gonna like be tripwire for some people, and they gonna malfunction. like oh no, this is not gonna whole malfunction.
The crazy thing is, a while back I was thinking, the whole saying from the movie, "You can't handle the truth." And it's just like, when you actually sit and think about it, it's just like, they can't handle the truth. A lot of people can't handle the truth. And it's simple, but it's very deep.
Yep.
And I feel like they know what information to give us just for our knowledge. Like, there could be a group that they want to know this because they want you to focus on certain things, or they want you to speak on this. This is not for you. It's for someone they know, because they have the DNA. They'll see the video and they'll know exactly what to do with this information, if that makes sense too. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Yeah. It's also one of those things, like I said, for certain people. You post it, some people are going to be like, what the hell she's talking about?
But you know what? Some people, they say that, but deep down, they know there's something that there's an itch that they want scratched. Like,
fact.
It is.
Fact.
They just not ready to dig that deep.
Yeah, they don't want to say it.
Well, that's kind of like, I have people that come to me for readings, and they're Christians, and they say they don't really believe in this, but I want a reading. So when I read out that information, they be like, okay, I don't want you to post this. Okay. So, because they don't want to see who sees. So, yeah. So everybody has curiosity about some things, but they don't want other people to know that they have curiosity about this. Or if they do a past life regression, they're afraid that someone may see this. But for me, I asked them, is it okay that I post portions of it? Or one person said, you can post it, but just kind of don't put my face on it, so you can blur that out, or you can put a little smiley, whatever. Because they know the message is important, and that's one of those that's coming up, right? So, yeah, they already have an inkling. Most people, they know, or they buried it. That same question of information about the information that came out, they can bury that in their consciousness. It's kind of like someone who has had a certain type of trauma. They don't want to visit that again, and so the consciousness takes care of that for them by burying it for them. Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You drew a blank.
This is crazy.
Drawing a blank. I guess they said not right now.
Maybe.
That there's where else do you want to go with this conversation? I feel like
it could go wherever.
Yeah, just, we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. I don't have anything specific more than that. I do want to say that I think everyone should think about having a session to find out things about themselves, even if it's something to find out things about their body, about why they feeling low vibrational at times. There is a reason for that. And I do want to talk about low vibrations. Let's talk about that. When I have these sessions, there are times when they have attachments, low vibration, and attachments that are not low vibration. I want to be clear. Some attachments were needed. They were life-saving for whatever the person was going through at that time. And they just stuck around and either did not know how to move themselves, or they just didn't because the energetic attachment got comfortable. That I have videos out there where removing those attachments is a beautiful thing. I want to give one example. There was a little boy who died, and he attached to a woman who's one of my clients who was getting a session done, a past life regression, and his mother died of cancer. The little boy, when he passed as a teenager, he attached to my client because she had passed, because she had cancer, and he felt the motherliness of her. She has 3 children, and so he attached to her because he was missing his mom. His spirit self went to look for his mom, but could not find her. She had already went to the light, and just because of this particular client, he attached to her, and that's what he told me. And then when I asked him if he was ready to go, he said yes, and it was loving, right? So everything that comes across in a session as an attachment or some type of energetic being does not mean that it is negative. Some of it is meant to save a person. I've had them where they are protecting the womb of a person. Different things happen, and they're not a low vibration. It is just an energy attachment. Are low vibrations? Yes. Do they tell me they ain't going no fucking well? Yeah, they tell me I ain't going nowhere. F you. I like it here. I like this car. I've had that. And that's buck wild, right? So you have to talk the energy, the low vibration, the vibrational energy, whatever. You have to talk to them and get them to understand that they are there unwanted and they didn't get permission, and that person needs to live a life without them so that they can continue to function. And once we remove that, whatever ailment was there leaves as well. We tell them to pack up everything. And that's a beautiful thing to see that in action. To see that after they have the session, to know they're not going to have that shoulder injury anymore, the knee energy, the habit of smoking, getting high, that when it wasn't theirs anyway, it came from the energy. And let me tell you this, they don't tell you a lie. They don't have no reason to lie. They don't care if you know, yeah, I'm here and I ain't going nowhere. Well, so why did you attach? She was getting high. And I used to get high too, so I wanted to be in that vessel. That's the things that are in my sessions are just phenomenal. To one, know that I'm speaking with this energy, and they don't have no bones about what they're saying. They tell you ain't going nowhere. I've had one that followed a family before. The person, my client, their sister, it just bounced around within them because they all was they were all kind of like workaholics, and so it just used them whenever it wanted to.
Wow.
But after having a conversation, it understood why they could no longer stay. So I can see a lot of people when they get to that part of the video, and it's in the front part, I can see them being like, oh, hell no, I ain't doing none of that. But you want to do that because you want this removed, especially if there's excessive habits that you have, things that you've been experiencing that you all of a sudden don't feel like yourself. It's important. If you want that, I guess you call liberty, of being liberated, of being who you really are, you should 100% have a past life regression, period.
Yeah. And like you said, like you can see people when they get to that part of it, they might be a little fearful when they see it, but then at the same time, they'll have that interest, like, oh, I wonder what I might have going on. So I wonder, should I do this too?
Yes. And it's funny you say that because I had a client, this is when I was taking volunteers to do it. And she was kind of like in the middle. She wanted to switch her appointment. She did. And then finally she said, Boujee, I can't do it. She said, because I think I've got some attachments. Girl, you really want to come, right? But you can't get people to, it's not my job to convince you. But when you tell me, then you already know. Yeah. And the person spoke to, they think they have more than one. Could a person have more than one attachment? Yes. I've had them have attachments in different places of their body. Or I've had them just outside on the aura. So it's a beautiful thing to watch them work through that. It's not a negative thing. No. It's a healing thing.
Yeah. And that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, everything comes down to the healing. the healing, and once it's healed, then you can grow, you can evolve, you can expand, elevate.
Yeah.
It's the healing. The healing never stops.
It never stops. It's ongoing. So some people they will have multiple sessions. I've had sessions where it's part 1 right now, and then they're waiting to have part 2. I've had them to give me a keyword so that we can enter right back where we left off, pick up, and keep going. That is amazing.
Yeah.
That. And another thing about this beautiful is when they go to spirit world. That is beautiful. They get to see people, their loved ones that have passed on, receive messages from them, get information from them. They get to find out about their gifts. What gifts do I have? Some people think of gifts of things like what we do, right? The medium, the channeling. Their things could be the gift of patience, the gift of giving love when it's needed to strangers that you don't even know.
Yep.
Right? It could be the gift of laughter because your laughing is so infectious, and then it takes somebody who was having a bad day to a new place. And every time you're around people, you do that, and you watch how people respond to you. That's your gift. Everybody doesn't have these gifts that are like some metaphysical practitioners have.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
It's important to know those normal gifts are needed and are necessary, and it comes up for them to do more of that and to do more of this.
Yeah, I think that is important for people to acknowledge that those things, like we're calling them normal gifts, but non-metaphysical gifts, they're gifts too. Like acknowledge it and literally use that gift and continue because it's making a difference and it's healing someone somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. And they know that once it comes up in their session from their guides, or if that information is given to them in spirit world, when it comes up, they immediately connect to it. They know. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm excited about what I do. I just love what I do,
Yeah. Have you ever thought of how to, I guess, evolve with it?
I do think about that, and sometimes information comes through other people about things that I should be doing or doing more of, and involving in that way. And even though I'll be like, what you talking about? What are you talking about? And so y'all don't know anything about that, and it always comes up that, of course, you don't know now. But when it's time, you will. And are you open to it? You can say no. And you won't evolve in that space or to the degree that you need to help others. So I always say yes, even if I don't know what that looks like. I think the latest thing I feel like my involvement is that, okay, Charles. My latest thing is when people are talking, I could literally in my mind see the picture of what they're talking about. And that sometimes is crazy, right? I don't even know what that's called. But it is a beautiful thing because it's not just the person telling a story. I literally get to see, they start to give details, but I don't do it with everybody, only with the ones they want me to see. So
that's cool.
So I hope I'm constantly evolving.
Yeah. That's interesting. Could you elaborate more on what you just said? I thought that was interesting.
The example I gave?
Yeah.
So, for example, somebody was talking to me about something that they had experienced with their grandparents, right? I'm driving my car as they're talking to me. And as they were talking to me, I know this is going to sound crazy as hell. That's one thing about your guys. They're going to take care of you. They're going to protect. They're going to be in protection mode at all times, especially if they feel like you're about to go into a space. I've begin to go into a channel space or whatever. They're going to make sure wherever we're supposed to be going, I'm going to get there. And that's weird to say, but it happens, right? Okay. You won't even remember how you got there, but you got there safe. So there was a person that was speaking to me, telling me about an experience that they had with their grandparents. And as they were talking to me, I literally could see his grandparents. What is he was talking about? He kind of mentioned what she looked like. I saw her. I saw what she was doing. She looked like Big Mama and everything. And I literally could see that in my mind's eye. Now, everything on the outside of me, I did not see. Like if we were in if we're in traffic, I can't see that. My mind, it just clicked over, like a screen went over, and we're going to give you this while he's talking or she's talking, and you're going to get this information. You're going to be able to see what it looked like. I think more to connect to the situation so that I could give them, there would be questions in my mind, but then they would have questions like, I don't know why they was doing such, but then it would come to me why. But they would give me the visual just so that I could see that, right? And I thought it was cool as hell, except when we passed the light or exited, we were supposed to get off like 3 times because I was getting information. That was wild. So it does give you a picture, being able to literally see in your mind's eye exactly what they're talking about. This happened with me and Trust one time. Trust, you remember that time I was doing that thing?
Yeah.
And we was the forehead, and I was giving the individual information about their life where I was receiving it visually coming in. And before Trust said she saw it before I saw it. It's right before I was speaking it, what I saw. That's a gift.
Yeah.
How can she see the exact same thing that I'm seeing while I'm talking to the person who is telling me something and seeing it at the same time? Yes.
It's crazy.
So that's
crazy.
what I'm
good
seeing
crazy.
in my mind. What'd you say, Charles?
I said that's crazy, but good crazy.
A good crazy. Yeah, it's a good crazy. Good crazy. I feel like that's happening more. I see things now. Sometimes when I just blinking and closing my eyes, I see pictures more. I never really did that. If I close my eyes and concentrate, some things might come through. But now I just be blinking. Sometimes I'm like, oh, what is that?
That's good.
Pictures of stuff like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and you just sit and focus with it. Nice.
Yes.
Nice. Have you tried to... Well, how long have you sat with it? Have you tried that?
Sitting with what I saw when I blink my eyes? Not long. You know why? Because I know that if I do that, this trance is going to come, and then the information is going to sometimes be like, man, I ain't got time for this. I got stuff to do. I ain't going to quit. But at the most, like 5 minutes, I'll sit there with my eyes closed with this picture. And sometimes I try to figure out, is this for me or is it for someone else? Because sometimes it's a message, just giving pictures. But if I ask, they'll give you the information who it's for. You usually can get that information. You'll figure it out. Even if it's not right then, within the next day, 2, 3, or whatever, you'll figure out, oh, that's so-and-so, right? It's kind of like when you do a reading and you get parts of it, and then something else comes to you after you get off the Zoom, and then they're like, don't forget to tell them such and such. I'm like, okay, dang. Now I got to call them back and tell them, hey, when we got off, I saw this, this, and this was for you. They was like, oh my God, I just had that information. I asked that question yesterday. So, yeah.
Nice. Okay. That's what I got for now. That's all I got for now.
Okay. I think this has been a very, for one, educational
I think so.
episode for people who aren't familiar too much with these things. And I feel like it can be very helpful to people who are practitioners as well. So I think this is covering all bases.
I think
I
so.
agree. 100%.
Yes.
Went in depth with a lot of different categories, aspects of things. I think this is very helpful, useful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate talking about the cards is just just a love, and just if I could give a takeaway about tarot and oracle, just first of all, tarot were actually artwork at one point that somebody designed, and then they turned it into a game, and they went from that to tarot, and so there is there was a process for that. But if I could give a takeaway for anything, tarot it has a standard set of arcana. Oracle, you can read from the pictures, or messages will be given to you, and the picture doesn't even pertain to whatever the message is. But they both come from individuals who create them through alchemy. Mm-hmm. And so it's important for people to know that, not to fear them. It's just paper with an artist drew pictures on it. They have meanings, The artists have a certain meaning for those cards, and so does spirit, your guides. They have meanings. They want them to design this deck because so many people are going to be interested in this deck. They need messages that are in this deck, or they need the messages in the deck so that you can get the download of the real message that they need that is not on the card. So when the practitioner draws the card, they know if they're sound ethically that it has nothing to do with what's in that card. Wait for it, and boom, it just comes in. So, yeah.
Yes.
Wait, before we leave, Boujee, give your all your tags for everything, your IG, your social, everything.
So everything on my social media, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube is Boujee Oracle Goddess, and it's spelled BOUJEE ORACLE GODDESS, just the exact way it's spelled. Except for bougie is a little bougie, you know. So I'm there on everything. You can, leave me a message, etc. And yeah, I think that's all the ones that I have. Yeah, that's it.
All right, and for sure, as we post it, we'll have it up there for you.
And I do live readings. I do, those type of things.
Yes.
So I do go live on TikTok and I go live on YouTube as well. So go check out the Past Life Regressions if you're interested. And yeah.
All right.
That's right.
Having me.
Yes, thank you for joining. And this won't be the last one with Boujee. We will definitely have her on here again.
Right.
All right.
So again, we thank you. We thank you, Boujee.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
Everybody. Thank y'all for tuning in. I feel like I forgot to individually to ask y'all to chime in and let us know what y'all think.
Yeah. We just went right into the conversation.
We was just rolling. But yes, now that we've reached the end, please go back and comment throughout. But if you've been listening, then you kind of know to do that anyway. Comment and let us know your thoughts on readings, on the integrity of it all, and past life regressions,
experiences.
And yes, your experiences. Just have conversation with us in the comments. All right. Thank y'all again, and catch us on the next one. Love is love.
Love is love always.
All right.
All right, y'all.